Hello everyone. My name is Sarah MacInnes and I'm a PhD candidate at the UQ School of Business. In today's session, I will be speaking about the role of habit as a driver of tourist behaviour and the implications of this for sustainability in tourism. If you have any questions or comments during the course of the presentation, please feel free to type them into the chat window. In the field of tourism behaviour, the role of habit has been grossly understudied. Historically, this has likely been due to the idea that a vital component of habit formation is behavioural repetition in a stable context. On the surface, this appears incompatible with tourism, an activity which is inherently sporadic and in ever-changing contexts. However, there are avenues through which habit can exist in tourism, which we will explore in this study. So what is the significance of this issue? Well, tourist behaviour is a significant contributor to the industry's burden on the environment. For example, a tourist choosing to have a new towel every night of their stay uses significant amounts of water, energy, and cleaning chemicals, which is an unsustainable practice, and one that could be avoided if they chose to keep the same towel. Importantly, tourist behaviour can also be addressed at a significantly lower cost than altering the surrounding infrastructure or management of the industry. Specifically, tourism's environmental sustainability can be improved through tourist behaviour change interventions. These are most successful when informed by a theoretical basis which predicts and explains the target behaviour. While many drivers of tourist behaviour have been investigated to inform these behaviour change interventions, habit as a theoretical basis for tourism behaviour has been virtually untouched. This is detrimental to the discovery of effective, informed techniques for behaviour change, which in turn impedes the goal to improve tourism sustainability. So what is habit, and why is it so important in the context of behaviour change? It is widely understood that habits are behaviours with a strong automatic component, acquired by repetition, and prompted by a cue. Given the emphasis on repetition and stable cues in habit formation, it appears unlikely that tourism, an often irregular occurrence with differing contexts, would create or sustain habits. Despite this, habit is an important factor to consider in tourist behaviour due to its resistance to change. With as much as 43% of daily behaviour driven by habit, it is an implicit, automatic process guiding a huge percentage of our behaviour. One implication of this is that where habit is involved, behaviour change techniques which rely on attention are likely to fail, because the behaviour is performed without awareness. Therefore, it is vital to investigate the existence of habit in tourist behaviour to account for a potentially significant barrier to influencing tourist behaviour and alleviating their burden on the environment. So given what we know about habit formation's relationship to repetition and stable contexts, where is the room for habit in tourism? The argument for habit's existence in tourism arises through 1. Habit transfer, and 2. Context-dependent memory. Habit transfer refers to the ability for habits to exist across multiple contexts, contrary to the idea that habits are prompted by only stable environments. For example, if you always leave your car keys on the kitchen bench at home, you may transfer this habit to a totally new environment, such as leaving your car keys on the hotel room's kitchen bench, despite the cues differing. In the context of tourism, habit transfer is possible through tourists transferring habits from their daily lives into various tourism contexts. This could refer to sustainable habits or unsustainable ones. The term context-dependent memory refers to information being triggered into awareness by the context that it was learned in. For example, divers who memorize word strings are able to recall many more of these words if they attempt to recall them in the underwater context they learned them in, compared to on land. This suggests the possibility of unique tourism habits that are triggered into awareness specifically by the tourism context. Importantly, within context-dependent memory, increased strength of encoding is linked to longer time delays between exposures, and heightened emotions also lead to increased recall. the dual features of tourism, that of significant time delays between tourism trips and the heightened emotions of being on holiday, predisposes tourists to increased strength of memory specific to the tourism context. This is a way for habits to be formed which are dependent on the tourism context and circumnavigate the need for repetition due to the high strength of memory. Habit transfer and context-dependent memory offer two plausible means to understanding the development of habits in tourism. The current literature is inconclusive as to the role habit plays in tourist behaviour, but links have been made between daily behaviours and those on holiday. For example, the frequency of home activities predicts preference for holiday activities, food consumption differs significantly between home and holiday, and daily green behaviours significantly predict tourist green behaviours. While these studies suggest some impact of everyday behaviour on tourist behaviour, it is difficult to identify habit as a causal mechanism in these findings. These studies largely rely on frequencies of daily behaviour and how they predict holiday behaviour, which could be driven by any number of factors beyond habit. Due to the automatic component of habit being both its defining feature and its greatest barrier to behaviour change interventions, it is vital to investigate habit's role in tourism, including this feature. Given what we know about habit's strong influence on behaviour and the gap in knowledge as to how it functions in tourism, the current research aims to gain insight into the role of habit in tourist behaviour. This is the first step of a multi-part study and represents the initial identification of habit in tourism and laying the groundwork for understanding how they form. The goal of doing so is to improve our understanding of habit on a theoretical basis, while providing direction for future studies to optimise tourism behaviour change techniques and thereby improve environmental sustainability in tourism. In order to study automaticity in tourist behaviours relating to sustainability, this research will focus on a set of environmentally sustainable behaviours, including, but not limited to, behaviours such as shower timing and the reduction of plate waste. Data will be collected via a self-administered survey using the online crowdsourcing website Prolific Academic, and involve participants who have travelled in the last 24 months. Participants will be asked to recall their last holiday and report to what extent they engaged in a randomly assigned sustainable behaviour during this holiday, but also in their daily lives. The self-report Behavioural Automaticity Index will be used to assess the automaticity of this behaviour. Scores from this 4-item scale are averaged to produce a habit strength score, which will be used to evaluate the existence of habit in these behaviours and how they differ or are aligned between home and holiday contexts. In addition, to deepen our understanding of habit in tourism, items relating to habit cues, such as what reminded you to perform this behaviour, and habit origins, such as where did you learn this behaviour, will also be included. Using correlational analyses, it is anticipated that the results will provide insight into the automaticity of a set of environmentally sustainable tourist behaviours. These results will also produce a catalogue of tourist behaviours that have a significant habit component, which will contribute to our understanding of whether these habits are congruent with daily life habits, indicating habit transfer, or incongruent, which would indicate that they are unique to tourism. Thank you very much. This concludes my presentation for today. Thank you for your attendance, and I welcome any questions you may have about this proposed research.